Yeah. All right, here we go. I think we're rolling live now. Hello and welcome everyone to another edition. Happy Friday. This is Get a Clue in 52 for coaches, myself included. By now, you may know that the version of Get a Clue in 52 that we did last year was the Entrepreneur Edition with my co-author and good friend Vipul Dayal, who, by the way, put on an incredible charity golf tournament for his Charity for Hope on September 11th. It was a fantastic event, lots of community building. I think he raised $70,000 for all kinds of different charities that he's involved in. So that was cool. The original version of Get a Clue in 52, of course, had my jovial cartoon version of myself. But the 5 categories here that we covered were communication, networking, accountability, marketing, and sales. Then in the Entrepreneur Edition, all the categories were related to being an entrepreneur. So it was personal branding, business acumen, business ownership, leadership and influence, and work-life balance. And then it got us to 2023. And I decided I wanted to be all about advocacy for the profession of coaching. It's a really important relationship in people's lives. There's a lot of aspiring and emerging coaches out there. Perhaps many of you know I'm VP, Vice President of Communication for the Professional Coaches Alliance. So I'm volunteering and giving my time to contribute to the community and help coaches elevate their professional standing and grow their business practices, etc. So this book is 52 tips, all about kind of like my journey. I say myself included because I wrote this thinking, hey, let me help aspiring and emerging coaches. And I realized how much help I was giving myself in the process of writing it, remembering the mistakes that I made, remembering the growing pains, reflecting fondly on the successes that keep you going, and the incredible support that I've had from my wife along the way when things were rough, and all of the things that factor into it. I'm 17, 18 years into the game now, so I have a lot to contribute. But of course, I got a lot to learn. So I realized everything that I was writing with the intention of helping others really helped myself. And isn't that the wonderful way of the world? So the 5 categories that we're covering in this edition of Get a Clue in 52 this year in 2023 is we started off with 11 tips from self-promotion. Section 1 was all about promoting ourselves. So we can't promote ourselves as a coach until we become a coach. Part of becoming a coach is actually believing that we're a coach and embracing the identity internally. So just getting over our own mindset around identity and can I do this? And am I learning this? Is this? But once we get past that, then we got to let the world know with a certain level of confidence. And then after a while, we got to get past the uncertainty, the doubt, the novelty of being a coach, and get past the whole tethered to a coach when we're self-promoting, because the reality is we're always more than just a coach. We're problem solvers, and coaching is one of the ways that we solve problems, at least if you're building your whole practice the way that I'm envisioning is coaching, consulting, training, speaking, info, products. Whatever solution is going to be the right solution for the prospect is what we need to be ready to deliver. So coaching is one piece of it, but it's not the totality of it. So then we went into, after self-promotion, of course, we need to actually get clients, right? So if we're a leader inside of an organization, if we're a manager, supervisor, director, VP, business owner, we're going to have direct reports, employees. We want to get engagement. But for private coaches or coaches that are building their own practices, we want enrollment. We want people to enroll in our coaching programs, right? So there's 9 tips here that we covered earlier in the year about how I figured out how to increase my rate of enrollment, how I figured out how to get coaching clients, which means I figured out how to make money as a coach, which allowed me to reinvest money in my coaching practice, on. And I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, need to be. I don't have employees. I have a loose collection of independent contractors and channel partners and maybe some license holders, etc. But no employees. I'm still very solopreneurial, but this integrity game thing that I'm onto is growing, and it's all based on all of the work that Get a Clue did for 17 years that we're now rebranding and repackaging as the Integrity Game. A shameless plug. If you haven't gotten your copy, go ahead and pick up a copy of the Integrity Game. But what we're about here is the tips that we're giving every week on Fridays. And so after we get over self-promotion and after we learn how to get clients, then what? Then it's just motivation plus accountability equals results. So we covered 10 tips in motivation, and there's 2 ways to motivate people. One is to give strategies, tactics, and resources, proven strategies, tactics, and resources in areas that we know are usual suspect areas: health, relationships, finance, and life coaching, or sales, marketing, operations, customer service. There's usual suspects, predictable areas where people are going to want help. And so we've got strategies, tactics, and resources to give people help in those predictable areas. But the other aspect of motivation is getting people out of their own way, is behavioral intervention, the drivers of inner psychology, the stinking thinking, the limiting beliefs, the disempowering beliefs, the emotional addictions that lead to patterns, habits, fears, etc. So we want to have strategies and techniques to be able to intervene in those things to help our clients get out of their own way to actually implement what is otherwise a proven strategy. So once we've promoted, once we've got clients, once we've provided motivation, the only thing left to do there is accountability. Motivation plus accountability equals results, but we need clients first, right? So here we are, we're in the land of accountability right now. And to do a review leading up to today's tip number 38, let's go ahead and review what we've covered in accountability so far. First of all, tip number 31, find a way to love. Accountability on surface gets a bad rap. And what I'm here to tell you is that love is the willingness to be vulnerable. And we as coaches definitely need to be willing to be vulnerable, because when we go to hold somebody else accountable, we can expect pushback, smoke, mirror, slither, sliding, a lot of stuff that isn't fun, but it's necessary for the purposes of the growth that we're supporting people through. So without a willingness to be vulnerable, right, this whole accountability thing is going to be tougher. So along those lines, tip number 32 was to look within. When we think about being an accountability coach, we think about holding other people accountable, confronting other people, but don't do it until you've had the experience of looking within first. Even better if you've had the experience of being held accountable. Even better if you've had the experience of being held accountable by somebody who's trained in accountability, which actually leads me to tip number 34, which is look outside. After we've looked inside, look outside. But before that, you have to have the experience of setting your own goals, pursuing your own goals, sharing your own goals with somebody who's you've given permission to hold you accountable before you're really ready to do it at a highest level for other people. So just as a reset, you got to find a way to be vulnerable. You've got to look within and be kind of like a product of the product. In doing so, you're going to be clear about what you're trying to achieve in your coaching journey or your personal professional growth journey. Set goals, calibrate goals, share goals, pursue goals, measure your progress on goals. Now you're ready to look outside and be held accountable, right? And have that experience yourself. And now with all of that, you're ready now. You're more ready than ever before to really have fidelity and credibility and resilience to all of the pushback that we might get when we're endeavoring to hold other people accountable. Now, that brings us to tip 35, which is to secure permission. Don't ever try to hold somebody accountable without their permission. It's predictable. It's going to go in one direction. What about you? What are you to hold me? Right? Anything that feels pressed upon is going to press back. But if you've got permission and you're aligned, then you can do all the pressing that you need to press upon, right? So permission. How do we get permission to lead? How do we get permission to confront? How do we get permission to hold up the mirror? How do we get permission to intervene, interrupt, suggest? All of those things is really critical to success in an accountability portion of the coaching relationship. And then tip number 36 was authoring state of mind. And we covered this a little bit when we talked about the behavioral intervention of the motivation section. One of our tips in these 10 tips on motivation was about mindset and authoring state of mind and helping our clients author theirs. Well, guess what? We better know how to author our own. If I'm in a bad mood, or if something's distracting me and my family or my kids or the community or the dogs are barking or whatever, and I'm 1 minute in front of a coaching session, I need to be able to flip the mechanism and get into 100% laser focus, 100% commitment to the person that I'm working on. If I can't author my own state of mind, if I can't shut off the noise in my head with everything else going on and be 100% available to my client, I'm not going to be as effective as a coach as I want to be. I might be able to get the job done. They might still pay the bill. They might still stay in coaching with me, but I want 100% undivided focus on my clients when I'm coaching them. So I better be able to author my state of mind to ignore, right, the mood. I say happy Friday in the Friday mood. You guys sometimes hear me happy Friday, celebrating Friday, to part of my process of authoring my jovial, energetic, fast-paced, variety-oriented Friday mood, because I want to bring it every Friday when I'm reading these tips. So authoring state of mind is critical, not just to be able to help our clients do it, but we need to be able to do it for ourselves. And then that brought us to last week's tip, which is gathering tools of confrontation. When it's time to confront somebody on their commitments, on their follow through on their commitments, on their beliefs, on their behavior, on their goals, whatever we're confronting people on. And there's a landscape of things that we hold people accountable for inside of a coaching relationship. We need tools, right? Somebody's going to build a house. You're not going to just use your bare hands. You need saws and hammers and wrenches and all of these things, right? Same thing with accountability. We can't just go in with our bare hands with accountability. We need some tools of confrontation. And what I mean by tools, it's not really like a hammer. It's really knowledge, information that we have that help us be more effective when it's time to confront people. Without a review of every specific tool, I can tell you that brings us now to tip number 38. Finally, we are here. All right, let me say hello to Sue, who's with us from all the way down under. I am not going to make Sue laugh today. Blew it, didn't I? Sue, Sue is battling some sniffles and a cough. I'm not gonna, I know how it is. Not gonna make you laugh and cough, etc. But I'm always so happy that you're here, Sue. I'm not gonna make you talk and turn the floor over to you and sip my coffee and have you like talk for a couple minutes while I sip my coffee. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to say thank you so much for being here as always. And I cannot wait. Shameless plug. I can't wait for our all-star session next week, right? For those of you that don't know, I'm in the fall, right? We're in the fall season right now. So every fall, starting last year with the 90-day challenge, and now this year I'm just calling them all-star sessions, I'm finding subject matter experts that can help me elaborate on the 10-point model of the integrity game. Different context than to Get a Clue in 52. But Sue is the CEO saver. She saves CEOs from all of the stuff that's coming in different directions, from the direct reports, from the peers, from the the immediate direct reports that are, targeting them and talking behind their back, or the board member and all that stuff. She's the CEO saver. And I can't wait to bring that genius and that content and that acumen out of you in our interview next week. So look for Sue. Sue, I don't know. Let me just go ahead in the comments and type in your name so people can search you. Sue, Mathieson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or EI? No. Yep.
No, IE.
IE. Yeah, I have a little bit of a dyslexic thing, but all right. So in the comments, it's going out. Check her out, look her up, connect with her on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and see the promotions that we're doing for our all-star interview next week. If you've been wondering who's Sue and why is she so committed and dedicated to showing up all the time and how come she has such great stuff, well, you'll learn more about who Sue is if you attend our all-star session next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Having said all of that, let's go ahead and get into the reading of today's tip, and then we'll move on with our Fridays. So tip number 38, if you're following along at home, because every one of you out there has a copy of Get a Clue in 52, page 151, and here we go. Perspectives on time management. In tip number 23, I promised some perspectives on time management in the accountability section, and here they are. Be ready to confront your clients with these perspectives. The number one strategy for time management is to set goals. If we help our clients do a great job with goal setting, they will make better decisions about what they do in time. Beyond that, we need to stop calling it time management for some very important reasons. One, time manages itself quite well, in fact. I encourage you to read a book by my future friend, Mitch Albom, called The Timekeeper. The book is about a curse bestowed upon the first person to ever attempt to measure, parentheses, control, manage, and parentheses, time. It is a tremendous read that will change your perspectives on time altogether. My suggestion is to simply be humble and honest and admit that we do not manage time. That time is a concept far beyond us and totally automated with no help from humans. Second, what can we manage? Ourselves, our moods, our decisions, our actions, all of which occur in time. But can you see how the focus shifts towards accountability when we get honest about what we truly can manage? I love speaking on this topic when I ask people if they have ever said out loud the things I say. I'm going to read this again because I always laugh because it's always a fun thing for me that I do in public speaking. So let me reset. I love speaking on this topic when I ask people to if they have ever said out loud the things I say, like, there's a little bit of quirkiness there. I'm going to, right? Is that quirky the way it reads? There's a typo here.
Yeah, I think there is a typo.
Yeah. Okay. I love speaking on this topic when I ask people to say out loud if they have ever said out loud the things I say, like, quote, I don't have time. And then the crowd will go, I don't have time. If only there was more time. And then the audience will go, oh, if there's only one, I ran out of time. I don't have time. Gotcha. I don't have self. Gotcha. Right? I was going really fast on that. My coffee's kicked in. So let me just stop reading word for word and just break this down. When I'm doing this for public speaking, let me pause the word for word reading. When I'm doing this in public speaking, let me say it clear because my reading this doesn't catch up with my mindset and my verbals on it, right? Let's play a time management game. Really, if you have ever said out loud what you're about to hear me say out loud, say it out loud after you hear me say it out loud. Let's do a test run. Sue, this isn't too heavy. Can you participate? Let's do a test run. Table.
Table.
Okay, so the idea is if you know you've ever said what you hear me say, then say it after you hear me say it. So we do it, table, chair, floor, house, love, and I get now everybody's ready. And then we go. I don't have time. I don't have time. If only there was more time. If only I ran out of time. And now I got everybody in a rhythm of like Simon Says, repeat after me. And then I say, I don't have self. And then some people in the audience go, I don't have, gotcha. Now let me pick up the word for word, back to word for word. You never say that last one. Quote, if only there were more tasks. I ran out of purpose. If only there were more discipline in the day. Do you see what I'm getting at? When we look within at what we can control, we can be accountable. So most people call it time management as if it is the fault of time that we're underachieving. Finally, when we say I need better time management, we have a victim mindset. Were we to say instead, quote, I need better decision management or self-management or task management or calendar management or purpose priority management, we would be demonstrating an accountable mindset. Stay accountable, my friends. Do your very best to never allow yourself or your clients to say time management or any related phrase that dilutes 100% self-responsibility. When it comes to the things we can manage, we must be accountable to only managing what we can manage. And we must confront our clients every time they flirt with the helplessness or victimization that empowering time as the boogeyman can lead to. There you have it. Do not empower time as the boogeyman in our lives. Father Time has been managing time since the beginning of time. So stop lying to yourself, first of all. Stop being victimized by something you have no control over and start embracing the mindset, the self-talk of what you can control. Your decisions, your priorities, your goals, your actions, your communication, your energy, etc. So that's the shift. And that's tip number 38. Now, Sue, I understand that you're not feeling as peak as you normally do on these Fridays, but still, let me softly ask if you have anything to add or contribute without laughing too much or straining your voice and instigating a coughing fit or anything like that. I'm thrilled that you're here at all. If you're even feeling 1% under the weather, you're still here. So thank you.
Pleasure. Actually, one thing did come to mind as you were reading it. And what I really liked was, what prompted me was the way you were talking about the different phrases we use in relation to time. Don't have time or ran out of time.
Yeah.
How easy it is that we get in the habit of saying that. And in doing so, we deflect responsibility.
Yeah.
And if we were to just stop for a second and go, how can I rephrase this? It forces us to essentially look in the mirror and go, oh, hang on, what could I have done differently to not be in the position, situation, wherever it is that you're about to go, blah.
Yeah. People have no problem saying I don't have time, but what they won't say is I overcommitted. People have easy time saying I ran out of time. People have a hard time saying I haven't prioritized correctly. People have an easy time saying I don't have time for that. But what they're having struggle doing is setting smart goals that they are unstoppable for to the exclusion of everything else. All right? People have an easy time saying that's a waste of my time. But then they'll turn around in another breath and say, I don't have time for that, or whatever it is. So yeah, this is really, really important. I only call time management just to let people know what the hell we're talking about so that I can get their attention to say, stop calling it time management. So to me, there's two major pieces here. Number one, if you want, like literally, if we want to keep calling it time management, okay, fine. Keep calling it time management. And I'll tell you the number one strategy for time management is goal setting. It's not the Franklin Covey. It's not the calendar. It's not the reminders. It's not the alarms. Those are tools that help us keep our commitments to the decisions that we've already made. But if you want better time management, set goals, set smart goals, set goals with a world-class coach that will hold you accountable to the most critical, most crucial things that you want to achieve, where you would be okay with everything else you're not achieving in exchange for progress up that mountain, right? That towards those goals. Because then if you're clear on the three most important things that are like life and death must achieve, then everything else that comes along, it's very easy, yes or no. It's very, oh, yes, that fits with what I'm trying to achieve. Oh, no, that's a distraction. I got a text the other day from somebody that says, hey, Jeff, checking in, want to see how you're doing. I should read this. I won't even tell you the name. Can I read this? Are you ready? Watch this.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is fascinating when it gets into what we're talking about. I won't mention the name of anybody, but it goes a little something like this. I had not heard from this person since April. We're in August now, so like 4 months, right? Here it goes. Hey, Jeff, how has life been treating you and what's new on your journey? Things are good and busy. How about you? Translation, what's this about, right? Okay. Awesome. Good to hear. Things are well on this end. In the middle of a new project that I feel would be a great fit for you and would love to connect on it if you have the time. Literally word for word. If I have the time, what?
Yeah.
We all have, do you understand? So people are just, and so like me, because I'm an accountability guy and we're talking about accountability and perspectives on time management. So like, do you hear how general this is? Hey, Jeff, how's life been treating you? What's new on your journey? Things are good and busy. How about you? Awesome. Good to hear. Things are well on this end. In the middle of a new project now that I feel would be a great fit for you. And would love to connect on it if you have the time. So they want a meeting, I guess. They want a meeting. Well, why would I make a meeting? I don't know what it's about yet, right? If I just say, okay, yeah, let's connect and let's have a meeting. Now I'm going to get pulled into a meeting. I don't even know what it's about. Why would I stop what I'm doing? I've got my own goals that I'm achieving. I got my own papers to grade. I got my own clients to coach. I got my own prospects to convert. I got my own marketing programs to. Why would I stop doing what I'm doing if it's undefined? So, maybe it's interesting. I love the guy. I love everybody, but let's continue. Very simply, Sue, what is the project and why/how do you feel I would be what's the project and why do you feel I would be a great fit? Maybe if you can tell me that, then I can evaluate if it fits in with my goals, and then I will manage my time to be there, right? He says it's networking specific to ex-athletes helping one another to grow their business. All right. I like athletes. I want to work with that. Getting closer. Okay, and so here's what I replied back. Okay, that's a little more info. What else can you tell me and how do you feel I would be a good fit? I am not an ex-athlete, although I would love to work with as many as possible. So please tell me more before I decide to give my time away to this and steal from what I've already made commitments to. Make sense? But people that haven't set goals and that are not passionately, unstoppably committed to their goals, this sounds really good. Oh, really? You like me? You think I'd be a good fit? I don't have my goals set for me. Okay, sure. And next thing you know, you're a pawn in somebody else's game. And not that you would be. Maybe it is good. Maybe it is valuable. So keep the open mind, but I'm disciplined in managing my decisions, my commitments, right? So let's continue, right? And I'm trying to help this person. Yeah, like how your book has baseball references in it. And listen to this language. This is so interesting. This is what accountability does. We have to have the power to confront, right? This isn't even a client of mine. This is somebody obviously wants me to be a resource in whatever he's trying to build, right? So I said, hey, okay, that's a little more info. What else can you tell me and how do you feel I would be a good fit? I am not an ex-athlete, although I'd love to work with as many as possible. So tell me more, please. He says, yeah, like how your book, The Integrity Game, like how your book has baseball references in it. Well, baseball references, it's not, by the way, not even references. It's a parable set to, I don't just reference baseball. That's the sending the context. Now I'm thinking, well, Did you read the book?
Yeah.
You know, just because
Yeah.
there's a picture of a baseball stadium on the cover doesn't mean I'm qualified to whatever you haven't defined for me yet. This is accountability, right? So here we go. Has baseball references in it, and this is where it's very interesting. Yeah, like how your book has baseball references in it, and not quite sure where the fit would be. But knowing you and the person that introduced us, skills, feel there are definitely areas there that work. So in the same sentence, he's saying, not quite sure, but definitely areas that would work. So what? I don't get it. I still don't get it. And I just like, how can I help you? Question mark. Just how can I help? Because at this point, right? And he says, would like to see if you would be part of the movement, still putting the pieces together. Movement, it was a project, it was a movement. You're not sure. You definitely feel I would be a good fit, but you don't know. What's going on? I don't know. And the truth is, the person may know, but it's not coming through in this text message thread.
No,
right?
Definitely lack of clarity.
So here I go, because I love everybody. I'm not judging this. This is the normal course of affairs that people are dealing with. First of all, people are reaching out this way without certainty about what they're really asking people to do. You're really asking somebody like me to stop what I'm doing to get in. So let me help. Ready? Do you need help defining something? I still don't know what the movement/networking is, so I don't know what you're asking me to be a part of. Do you need coaching around your ideas? Do you need guests to attend networking events? Do you need a curriculum of content and subject matter experts or speakers for your gatherings? Help me out here. What are you looking for? And then he says simply, it is guest for networking event at the moment. And I haven't even replied yet. Like, create the event and invite me. What's all this other stuff about? Create the event and invite me.
Yeah.
Create the event and send me a personal invitation rather than a mass invitation. Say, Jeff, I'm personally inviting you to this event at this date, at this time for these reasons. I manage myself.
Yeah.
Time manages itself. I manage myself. I manage my calendar. I manage my. That's a recent example that just came to me earlier this week. It just happened 3 days ago. But this is the idea. Is like, my point is, when I set goals, if I'm very clear on the goal setting process, and I got specific, measurable, achievable goals that are ambitious for damn good reason that I want to achieve in a declared amount of time. Not only that, but those goals are a function of my annual objectives and my mission and my vision, which we're going to talk about next week in the Integrity Game All-Star session, is how do we get at potential? It's vision, mission, objectives. Well, anything less than an annual objective is a quarterly goal or a semi-annual goal. And I'm telling you right now, we know that 97% of the population doesn't set goals. They have hopes, wishes, and dreams. So then they get blown around like a feather in the wind by stuff like this. And not that there's a chance that what this guy's working on could be the thing that I've been looking for all my life, but it's just not clear enough yet for me to stop what I'm doing, what I've committed to doing, in favor of something that's undefined. But how many people in the world are doing that? The bright, the shiny, the noisy, the this, the that, the other, because they haven't set for themselves what they really want. So the number one goal for time management, my number one strategy for time management, you want to increase your decisions, you want to be more efficient, you want to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. Okay, set goals. But most of us don't set goals on our own. That's why we need world-class coaches to help us set goals. Second strategy for time management: stop calling it time management. Time manages itself. I'm going to manage my decisions. I'm going to manage my calendar. I'm going to manage my yeses and nos when I'm solicited by the world's noise. I'm going to manage my goal setting. I'm going to manage my coaching sessions. I'm going to reach all of these other things. So you got me excited, Sue, when you fed back on that perspective. But
and I think
I've made the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, but even to that, and just the conversation that you've read out now, when we're reaching out to others, if we respect their commitments, their priorities, but we're looking for help, information, whatever it is that we're searching for, we are more likely to get the engagement, the answers we're looking for, if we respect that and be clear about what are we looking for, what are we seeking.
Very
And
specific. Yeah.
be specific, give the context as to why we're asking for what we are.
Yep.
And I'm just thinking about some people that I was reaching out to recently, and in the message that I sent, I also said, if this is not appropriate for you, please advise who is an appropriate delegate or refer me to who might be the better person to chat to. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to take up space in your calendar.
Yeah.
It's not appropriate.
I love that. And I want to tweak it a little bit in the direction of the positive, right?
Yeah.
Instead of I don't want, what I do want. Hey, so-and-so, I'm reaching out to you because I'm excited about our possibilities. What I need to know first on is what you're working on and what your priorities are. So I'm sure that what I'm doing is a fit for you, is attractive to you. Right? I want you to make time for this if I can be sure that it is in fact of value that I think it may be. So I would just phrase the I wants rather than I don't want.
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm reaching out. I want to know what you're working on. What's the most exciting things in your world right now, to see if there's an opportunity for us to align, because I'm excited about some things. I will only know if what I'm working on is valuable for you if I can quickly get an update on what's really exciting for you, what you're working on, if there's a chance that you can make room in your, not have time for this.
Yeah.
But if this is something exciting enough for you to make room in your calendar for, because it integrates with everything else that you're doing already. Does that make sense? So we talked earlier about building rapport in the section on engagement, and rapport is not walking into somebody's office and saying, looking at the picture of the fishing trip and saying, oh, you fish too? I love to go fishing. We're in rapport now, right? And no offense to this gentleman who I'm still creating a loving space for, if he gets the stuff together and puts the invitation together, and I'll just say, here's my email, send the invitation here. Let me know. Give me the date,
Yeah.
But he says, oh, you like baseball? Maybe you're a good fit for... No, we got to go deeper. We have to do the work, and we have to be clear about what we want. And goal setting is the key to effective time management. And the second key to effective time management is to stop calling it time management. Yeah. What else? Last call. Let's go ahead and do last call. I'm thrilled. I'm playing with house money, so to speak. It's bonus that you're here at all, given how slightly under the weather that you feel. But I was able to get a really good contribution from you to the session. And just being here alone always animates me. But when we hear your voice and we get your perspective and what you feel is valuable, that's always wonderful. And then it's, of course, it's really cool. Let me put the link in, by the way, in the comments here. For any of you, maybe put it in the comments. If anybody wants to register for the All-Star session I'm going to do with Sue next week, where I'm going to interview her about potential, which breaks down to vision, mission, objectives, and how do we help leaders, CEOs, executives, how do we support them in the effort to define vision, mission, objectives, and how that really helps everybody. That's a rising tide that lifts all boats towards potential, is when we can define vision, mission, and objectives, and all kinds of other perspectives that Sue's going to have on that. For those of you that want to register for free to join that conversation, it will be in my Zoom room. But the way that you would register is you go to tinyurl.com/TIG All-Stars. And you can register.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you can register for free. And let me go ahead and show that. tinyurl.com/TIG All-Stars. Sue is an all-star in my world, in our ecosystem, in the integrity game ecosystem. And we're going to get into potential and vision, mission, objectives next week. So thank you, Sue, for being here. I'm happy to promote that. That's the comments. Now I hid that. Let me make it a banner as well. Register for All-Star sessions for free by going to www.tinyurl.com/TIG All-Stars. I got to put the integrity game. I get to do that with a little registered look, because I do have patent protection. It's, hey, if you earned it, you've earned it.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. We'll show this. If you want to register for Integrity Game All-Star sessions, we've done the overview session. We did Purpose Week. We've done Gifts Week. Now we're heading into Potential Week. And then there's 7 other weeks after that are all content-based. And I've searched for subject matter experts that will help me. On Get a Clue in 52, I'm the main voice. This is right. But what I'm doing in the Integrity Game, the All-Star sessions, I'm trying to be the facilitator and bring other voices and other sets of acumen and expertise to these topics that I've laid out in my model. So there we go. So back to last call, perspectives on time management, tip number 38 in the land of accountability in this year of 2023, where we're all about coaches. Get a Clue in 52 for coaches, myself included. Sue, last call, anything?
No, been a fun conversation.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Remember, we got 2 more sessions in the accountability section before we move on to the last 12 tips of the book, which are going to be super jovial, wacky Friday fun. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be like reading my tips in like a musical, rhythmic kind of stream of consciousness jam. So be ready for all kinds of vulnerability and silliness and me wearing it on my sleeve and letting it fly. But we got 2 more tips to go in the accountability section. What we're really trying to do, I believe I'm on the planet to make accountability non-threatening. I don't always succeed. Behind all the jovial silliness and wackiness, I'm intense. I'm passionate. I'm a driver. And I you kind of temper all of that with my joviality and my animation. And so I'm not always successful when I want it for you, maybe more than you want it for yourself. When I want it so badly, I protect my calendar like a sniper on top of the White House. So sometimes I can be intense with matters, and I'm not always successful at making accountability non-threatening. But that's what I want to do. That's what my goal is. That's what a mission is. So thank you for joining me on this journey, Sue, for being here live. And for any of you that have taken the time to watch the stream or the recording of the stream, thank you so much for being here and getting whatever value there is to glean out of my effort to make accountability non-threatening. We're going to 2 more tips to go on this journey before we move into practice building. Once we learn how to be a coach, market ourselves as a coach, get coaching clients, and perform for our coaching clients, now we got to build our coaching practice. So we're 2 tips away from getting into those 12 tips, that 12 tip set. But a couple tips to go in accountability. Sue, as always, thank you so much for being here. I love you. Love all of you out there in the world that are watching the recording, etc. We'll see you next week for another installment of Get a Clue in 52. Happy Friday, everyone. Go get it. Go get it. All right. Take care now.
See you next time.
Thanks, Sue. See you Wednesday.